So we break it, and then we have to cook this powder. This powder is really, lately has become white gold to us, very, very valuable. But we do collect the end products, and you'll see this from our machine. So the aluminum from the end caps, you'll see green ones in here, and don't let this stigma get to you about, oh, I can throw a green lamp in the garbage. Okay, the dumpster is our biggest competitor, but if you take 250 of these green tip lamps and throw them away in one place, now you have a potential contamination issue with concentration of mercury. You won't pass a T-clip if you throw 350 of them away. You might throw one away and get away with it. So we would just like to tell everybody, hey, you should recycle, do the right thing. But you get the metal byproduct there, you get the glass, and that's one thing we're having challenges with, but we're getting close. And then you have the powder. Well, we collect the powder through a set of bag houses. Basically, it's a vacuum system that collects the powder at each of these locations that handles the lamps. Then they ship that powder here, and then we essentially get to cook out the mercury. And it's that elemental mercury that we all played with in school, we probably shouldn't have been messing with. Okay, so you've got that elemental mercury there. So we take it and capture it by the drum. We top off the drum so we can actually put it under a strong vacuum, and then we throw it in an oven. It's like cooking biscuits. You get real hot, so it's like a convection oven. So we cook up the powder to about 800 degrees on the outside, and the core temperature of that gets around 450. And it's a cycle that lasts about 12 hours altogether, from a heat up, actual cooking, and then to a cool down. We pull that out, and then we take a sample, and we sample that powder, and then we send it off to an independent lab for testing to make sure we do pass the T-clip. It kind of works like a moonshine still, okay, in that concept of heating it up, the mercury vaporizes. Mercury vaporizes at room temperature, so if I just open that up and set it in the room, it's eventually going to disappear. We're doing it, you know, where we're applying that heat, making sure we're extracting that out. The vapors obviously are going to condense back down into a collection point where we get this. So that's how it kind of works. So it cooks up, vaporizes, condenses, and then we collect. This goes back into the domestic market, back into lamp technology. We send it to a distiller who actually has to clean it up and extract all the impurities out of it, get it to 0.99999% pure. So it is reusable. The powder is a really cool thing because it actually contains rare earth oxides. China recently, they have the mines that mine the phosphor powders for the world right now. Okay, so there's some other mines that were shut down. China got the monopoly on it, so to speak, and then they raised the prices of lamps. Light bulb prices went up 60% in a very, very short period of time, and that really held up a lot of retrofit jobs for some of our contractors out there in the world that we do business with. But so somebody said, hey, we've got to do something about getting that powder. And so the lamp manufacturers have come back to the lamp recyclers and said, what can we do to get this, and can we extract the rare earth oxides out of there? The red phosphor powder is the rarest of all, and basically it is useful in our defense mechanism for the United States government, GPS systems, missile guidance, cell phone technology, all that. So that's where it is applied. But they want to put it back into lamps so they can keep the price down. And so Philips, GE, Sylvania, those are the big three, the most common names of lamp manufacturers. They're the ones coming in, collecting this powder and putting it back into the lamps. So it is a full circle on the recycling effort there. So it's awesome and to be applauded by those groups. Byproducts from metal, the HID lamps, the gymnasium style lighting, and the ones you see at the baseball game. Those byproducts are actually broken out in our machine as well. We used to demanufacture these by hand. We'd actually take it, break the globe on the outer shell of that, and then take a pair of diagonal pliers and cut off all this wiring, get to the socket, and then the centerpiece actually contained the mercury. There was an ampule of mercury in the center, so we would just kind of set that off to the side and then nip those and then empty those out. So we would collect mercury in two ways, one through our retort, but the other through the HID processing. We do collect batteries for recycle. We do not process batteries here. It's usually something that we get by proxy because we're at a location and the customer says, can you take this too? So we say, yeah, sure, we'll take that. So batteries, as long as the terminals are taped and they're separated properly, we'll actually accept those. We do transship those up to Battery Solutions up in Michigan, Howell, Michigan. If anybody ever wanted to go see that place, I can make that arrangement. They are a top-notch group. They have an open door policy, but they have a very nice program that they do as far as recovering the zinc out of the alkalines and so on and so forth. So they're steady operation. We also get E-scrap. E-scrap that we collect never gets exported out of this country. We don't want to end up on 60 Minutes. Okay, so we're not going to be those guys. We audit this place once a year, just because we want to make sure they are doing everything correctly, and they are. And we have a solid relationship with our electronics recycler. We send them all of our non-PCB ballast. We are their largest vendor of non-PCB ballast. We send them about 40,000 pounds a week of non-PCB for copper smelting. This is what happens to the E-scrap. This is computers, you name it, the fax machines, office equipment, anything like that. It ends up going through a shredding process, and then they have a way of extracting the precious metals that they want to get out of that, be it gold, platinum, silver, whatever they want to capture. So they've got different ways and different system setups for that. They actually do dismantle computer systems. If we send them an entire unit, they'll break it all down completely. They shred hard drives. You can see it online. We can actually track your package from here to there, and they will actually videotape your commodity or your asset being destroyed. So that's why we have confidence in that group. Any questions?
Everything is counted, and everything is marked with a unique ID number, which says the date that it was received, and it has a little prefix here of 24 is for any kind of powder.
They're all microns, see my name on it.
I see your name on it.
The processing room is in here. Let me check with Adam to see if we need it or not. I'll show him a little bit about this.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Yeah. The outfit machine that we put in, I think it started up somewhere around June, the beginning of June. Now this is the straight lamp area, and we have sections on each side because a lot of the straight lamps will come in boxes and stuff, and they'll throw it on the sides. We also use this as an inspection area because you won't believe some of the stuff people send us. There's a lot of tape, and plus it's also another area where we can check for shatter shield. We don't want any kind of plastic or any kind of tape to go through this machine. Any kind of plastic or tape or anything to go through. So all our shatter shields we build on the other side of the warehouse. We actually strip them of the plastic. Some of them we got to build like a carrot to make sure we get all the plastic off. And then what we do is we'll feed the straight lamps. There's 2 belts in here, and we'll move the lamps all down. And there's a breaker bar. The breaker bar right here is like a paddle wheel that's turning at all times, and it will break them. And we have vacuum set up before and after the break point, so that way we can get as much of the powder out as we possibly can. I was joking, but there's a little bit of glass in there. I don't want anything to come up. It's all fed on. Yeah. It's all fed on. There's actually 2 breaker bars in there. There's one that chops up, and there's one that will chop it up even finer down bottom. And right now it comes down through here, and there's a conveyor right here. The conveyor brings all the broken glass, the end caps, and everything. Well, as you can see, at all points, it is bringing a huge vacuum, trying to collect as much powder as we can. Okay? Now the glass and end caps and everything come up this conveyor, which goes into, and Adam's going to run some for you so you guys can actually see separates them into two rumblers. Now the rumblers are like big wheels. It's the same technology as the multi-purpose unit. There's one big wheel in there. Someone explained it to me like, you know how you open up your dryer door and there's those 3 fans inside the dryer? You know what I'm talking about, a washing machine and dryer? Those 3 fans, it's like one real big long tube like that, and it just keeps rotating. And what it does is the glass keeps banging on itself, and that's pretty much what deburrs it and breaks it down even finer. Okay? Now, this has a different vacuum system. The only thing that this one is pulling from is the rumblers right here and at the end. So it actually has more vacuum than that one does because that one has so many more outlets. So the powder will collect into these drums right here. There's filters and everything until it's out to the air compressor, and the air compressor will pulse. You can hear it pulse every once in a while. What it does is it knocks that powder off the filters. It comes down and we collect it into these drums. And this is also our emissions. What this is I'm not sure the correct terminology in here, but the mercury from the air will stick to this. It's kind of like a filter process. But I guess like mercury loves everything. It will stick to anything. So this is just one more safety for us, for the mercury to stick to before the air emissions come up. And we just had this tested, I think about 3 weeks ago. We had a stack test done, and we haven't had the actual results come back, but from everything they've told us so far, everything went good. So our air emissions in this place is very good, and everything in this room is worked on negative air pressure.
When you just spray the bulbs in, how grab this part of the end cap, take it off to the side, and then over there we got our, we call that our waterfall. This is our glass discharge. As I said earlier, the glass inside deburrs itself. If you look at it, it's a lot cleaner than it was when it went in. Okay? Compared to our old machine, this looks almost like diamonds. Don't get your hopes up. But as it deburrs, I told you I could squeeze it. That's all I had. Don't try it. And it won't touch it. That is amazing.
The glass right now is what we're trying to find an avenue for. Okay? If we can find an avenue for the glass, we will be zero landfill. We take our end caps, we send them to a metals recycler in Granite City, Illinois. Our powder a year ago
catches the brass, aluminum, plastic, the metals that are inside. I have a drum over here so we can see this drum as well. Break it there and separate the metals in there. Okay. Glass collect here, metal put off to the side, or plastic is just a CFL or circular U-bend. Okay, and then take the glass and go run it through our machine. This amount would take probably 20 minutes to run in the old system. What's that? Get back up my double. Yeah, to the end. So what we'll do is, it's a smaller beam. The amount we have in there, this probably won't push through today until we run some more. So what we want to run is we'll take a thing of HIDs like this, put it in there, and then the next one will be compact, because we want that mercury to mix with the powder. Mercury loves a lot of stuff. It loves phosphor powder, it loves charcoal, salt, copper. So we want to mix it in there together. That way when mercury comes out, it goes with that powder. I can take this whole drum, see how he has that drawer down, put it in there, or I can dump it in there loose, which is what I'll do here. The old way, up there would take 20 minutes to process. And the same glass on here. So this can run without a big truck. This is like a garbage truck without a chassis. Sorry, it's got a 3-stage tilt. You'll see a light up here on one of these things. And that lights up. This is what we do here. A lot of stuff we do is really primitive. Okay, our unloading dock, we don't have a dock that you drive your forklift on. I can't lock a driver in. Yeah. No, that's something different. What we'll do is they'll back the truck up. We'll put a pallet jack or a drum dolly on there. Bring stuff to the tail end. The forklift will pick it up. Okay. If someone's like when I showed up, I was shipping a load of powder out. I got to make that driver either turn his truck off or disconnect his lines. So my guy's in there. You don't end up in Kansas for this night because he takes off. So it's a challenge for us, but we try to make our challenge our treasures here. So we got really good at it. Bring the material in, lamps, any kind of lamp or CFLs, any of that. We build by individual piece count. Okay, so these guys will count everything. We'll put it into a summary sheet, paperwork matches up, we put it in there when we invoice. We also get in ballast, both PCB and non-PCB, batteries, electronic scrap. We're kind of like Sanford and Son. We take all kinds of stuff in. But all that stuff gets billed by a weight. And we have a scale over there that we put it on, we weigh it up, send it out as an invoice. We do produce unique ID labels. Okay, this is our label. This is crushed lamps. What we have here is 72-hour rule. We fall under that. Okay, we have to process everything within 72 hours. If we cannot, we can go on our Part B. We're a modified Part B. Our whole facility is not. We just have certain sections, and we have a year that we can store things there. When this prints out, if we're going to process it here, the date will come on it, so we'll know when our 72 hours is up. We have a prefix. On this one is 29, that is for crushed. Straight lamps is 30. Non-PCB is 20. All the different batteries are listed out. I'm not going to bore you with that. And then we have an identifier number. So if you were to say I shipped you, you got your invoice, you said that was non-PCB valves, you don't use the PCB. I can look up your order, find your number, and go look at it and go take pictures, do whatever, and then so we can get it straightened out. And then we have a barcode on there. The barcode is for our recording, production recording system. So whenever the guys empty that up, you'll see it's not very pretty, but you'll see some up there right now. That's what we processed today. They'll scan those in, and then I can go and say, hey, you didn't do enough, or good job, you did good today. And that's how I know we did over 6 million lamps last year.
So these are crushed lamps.
What we're doing here, what these guys are doing is they're doing the shatter shields. Okay, the lights that you find in the food industry, they all have this on it. That way if it breaks, it don't go into the buffet. Okay. We have to peel these like a carrot. There's no easy way to do it. If I find it, I'm going to patent it. I'm going to make millions of dollars. Or we're going to do every shatter shield in the world. The industry term for these is they are a pain in the ass. Nobody likes to do them. It's terrible. So these guys are peeling all these off. We do not want plastic to go through our machine. This right here, so everything we have will not break up like glass does. Okay, so this is going to cause a jam. And then supervisors have to get involved and clean it out. They know what that's going to do.
And then they have plastic and glass too.
Yeah. So we avoid that. Back there we do Mercury containing devices, thermometer, thermostat. Got a 71-year-old gentleman that works back here. His name's Superman. He moves trucks for us too. He's got a CDL, so he backs the trucks up. He'll do anything we ask. If I told him, Superman, I want to rob a bank, I need you to be a lookout, and he'll say, I don't agree with it, but I'll do it. So he'll do anything for us. And then in there is our retort. Okay.